MHO Talk Show.
In my humble opinion, I am HO Talk Show,
Yes,
Sir
sir.
Charles.
Miss Max.
And we are here still standing, ladies and gentlemen, middle of the show. Thank y'all for joining us and sticking with us. We are joined right about now with the good brother, my man for wow, Southern Albemarle roots with me. We both know a little bit about Esmond, Virginia.
Oh yeah, that's some deep roots.
That's right. My man Scott Hamler of 4Z Marketing. My man wears so many hats, but I can bet that you have come across more than one graphic or media design or marketing campaign that this brother is behind.
You might have seen my stuff a little bit. You might see my stuff a little bit. You may not see me, but you see what I do.
That's right. That's right, man. Yeah, how you feeling today, brother?
I'm good. I'm blessed. I'm happy to be here. Thank y'all for having me here today.
Yes,
I listen to the show, so it's cool to be part of it.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Thank you, man. So we have you here. For those that don't know, you are a part of the TomTom Foundation and Festival team. In particular, leading up community partnerships, right?
Yeah, I won't say leading, but I'm part of the foundation. I'm part of the board, the advisory board. Got involved with it I think like 2 years ago at this point. So I dug what they were doing with the festival. You know, like you said, my family's been in the area since before we can count, and so I've grown up here. And I like to see fun things, cool things happen in Charlottesville. Yeah. So I was really excited to get on board with them and to see what I can do with it.
Yeah. That's good stuff, man. So it's TomTom festival seems to pick up steam and it keeps getting stronger and stronger, bigger and bigger, man, better and better. But now let's start at the beginning because you're well versed with the group and whatnot. And it's in my humble opinion. Like as you know, you said you listened to the show, so we're gonna keep it 100. Keep it 100. Right. So so one of the many things is let's talk about sort of the like how it started and whatnot, because I'm the kind of person, man, where it's like we can do so much good together, working together and all that, regardless of like any like personal stances and personal beliefs and whatnot. Just kind of what we do, Max and I do, we give folks the information and then you make your choice. You choose on your own, So for the folks who may be from out of town, may be new to the area and whatnot, just give folks on what this, what the foundation does and what the Spring Festival is about.
Absolutely. And again, thank you for having me here. The festival, from my standpoint, it brings the communities together. And I say communities, we are one giant community, but also we are separate. You have these groups here, these groups here, these groups here. And that's one thing that I find a major value that this festival does, even though the festival week is a short time, it's just 1 week of the month. But then there are these other smaller initiatives that go throughout the year. But the idea I'm on board with about, we have this initiative, or we have this business, or we have this nonprofit, et cetera. And then we can show like, oh, Charlottesville's really doing something here, and I think it's also a good sort of blueprint for others to take and to do their own version of it with. That's also what I would like to see.
Got you. So so it is, and with the community partnerships piece, is that a pillar of it? Like are you guys trying to empower groups and folks like to continue the work that they do, or like you just said, to even do like offshoots of maybe similar ideas, or is it, or is it more of like a collaborative like think tank, right, to kind of bring the ideas here?
Absolutely, it's kind of all of the things. It's definitely a pillar of the festival itself. So like the community partner program, and right now the second round is going through the 31st. That's why I wanted to get on here before that people have time to get on the website, tomtomfoundation.org.
Oh, so we talking about this week?
Talking about this week. Yeah. So I really wanted to, you can, all you got to do is apply, and then there's steps after that. But as long as you get that application in, if you got an idea, if you got if you're working with a nonprofit, if you're just an individual, you want to bring something to the table, thoughts, ideas, you supply. And then with that, you become part of the overall festival. Your name gets out there, your organization's name gets out there. There are opportunities to have meetings where they sort of they help train you, guide you on things logistics wise, like can like steer you in right ways. We help with your communications, help that amplify your message. And like Charles said, I have a marketing business for Z Marketing. So that's where my mind always goes with amplifying your message and being intentional with what your message is. And so that is a springboard, I think, for a lot of different things, whether it be business wise, whether it be an initiative that you're part of.
Okay. Well, sounds like from what I can tell, I don't know, I guess at some point or another I've attended a TomTom event, I guess. But from what I can tell, it sounds like that you all do great work in terms of giving an opportunity for the community to come together, and I guess providing a platform for small and minority businesses to be able to share what it is that they do. Right? Yeah,
but
everybody. But this is the show. I'm talking about Black people. I'm talking about Black people. All right. Look, I'm not even going to be apologetic about it. I'm talking about us. But I say all that to say is that despite all the good work that's done, it seems like to me at least that TomTom Festival also receives a lot of skepticism or criticism, even as far as I guess the motivation behind the work, and the motivation behind the work, and then appropriating some of the work as well. And I want you to speak to that, because I think again, it's a wonderful opportunity for people, but when you talk TomTom, in almost every conversation that I have about it, this other thing is always hanging around as far as whether or not this festival and the organizers or owner of the foundation truly in favor of Black people and their businesses, or just kind of found a niche and something to kind of ride off of and ultimately profit from.
And maybe start at the beginning with that, of like, because one of the perceptions, whether it's a misconception, you can let us know, is that it started off as a celebration of Thomas Jefferson. And then so in the Black community, it was, should we even be celebrating Thomas Jefferson? Right.
100%. And I can only speak to what I know. And that's all valid. And I've had these conversations with folks, right? Because even prior to my getting involved with it, I didn't really know much about it, to be honest. I just knew it was in the park. Back in the day, and like there were some businesses that had tables and there was beer and music. Cool. And then when I came to the table, that was the first year was the block party. So then I got to know a little bit more about the foundation and about how it evolved from what it was before. And I do believe it had the genesis of the idea was to bring Charlottesville together, but with the idea of like, what's Charlottesville? Was Thomas Jefferson. That's where the name originally came from. But then hearing feedback from the community, and people was like, I feel excluded from that because that doesn't seem like something that is invite me and my community, and here's why. And then my understanding is
what was the reasons? Do you have any idea what those reasons were?
That
people didn't feel excluded? Was it just the name of it, or other reasons?
The name of it. That's the only thing that I knew of personally. And I still get from some elders I talk to, especially like, change that name, right? Like I hear you. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but I'll pass along that info. But through speaking with different community members and wanting to evolve and change and be more open and inclusive and inviting to everybody in the community, they switched it from, well, it's still TomTom, but it means tomorrow. Meaning looking towards the future. Evolving, especially after.
It's a nice spin.
It's a brand. Again with the marketing and branding, I understand. Like it's hard to change the name, but give a different meaning to it, different connotation to mark the evolution of it. And so with that, with that same time frame, we had the block party, which made sure we had a hip hop stage, make sure we have events that have hip hop, R&B, go-go music, Afro beats, different things like that, along with, the Latin American community got different events that tailored to different groups and with people of those groups heading off those initiatives.
Okay.
You know, so it's not just like, oh, there's this white dude that's doing all this. No, he's like, I don't know. Like, and I respect when people's like, they're like, I don't know, you know? And so they go to people to be like, all right, this is what I'm hearing. Are you able to bring your thoughts, your ideas, your perspective to the table? So to not co-opt things, to not, you know, take what is already existing and like just slap a name on it, you know, but it is incumbent upon, you know, individuals that come to the table to still, you know, represent themselves and make it their own.
Okay.
Yeah, because that is part of what, you know, some of the talk that you know that goes on, you know, is that it's like the appropriation part comes into where it's like, okay, you got Black people doing this thing, but then it's like it doesn't get the support that it maybe should, even from our own people and from me personally. Like that's more my plight. Like I'm like, if communities feel like that we should own something or do something, then we need to support each other.
Right.
Like, so my plight ain't even with the TomTom for my more so because, you know, because they're gonna do what they do. But my plight is more so with us. It's like when do we band together to create something of value? Right. Like
Absolutely.
because if somebody else do it, more power to you.
Absolutely.
Somebody gonna do it. You know?
Absolutely.
But one of the questions that I had too off of that is the founder shares a birthday with Thomas Jefferson too. Is that accurate, or is that urban myth?
I don't know. When is Thomas Jefferson born?
It was like I think it was June. Don't give me lying.
I don't know. I don't know. I gotta fact check afterwards. I don't know.
Okay. You'll have to forgive me for not knowing the answer.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't either. I don't know either one's birthday actually.
Gotcha. That was one thing that I heard. You know, which, you know, I guess you can understand why some people would feel like that could be a little self-aggrandizing. But you know, but I'm glad that you understand the point, because y'all ain't hurting, because like the mall be packed. Like so anything we saying here right now, it ain't gonna hurt you. Like we just clearing the air on things.
Oh no, and I do appreciate the time for the conversation, because it is a real conversation, and we do have this.
You have these conversations among
100%,
okay
100%. Because again, like I remember like first when some people brought some misgivings to me, I was like, oh, what? I didn't even know it was a thing. And then, you know, and it repeats. And again, like what Charles was saying, this thing does exist, and I take the positive attributes from it and then try to bring what I can to make it even better. Yeah. Because I'm all about like making sure we're in the room and making sure that someone is in the room that can speak to different perspectives. Right. You know, I find it important, and for it to be received. And that's what I've always felt. My input has been valued and received. Martez, who couldn't make it today. Same, you know, he makes his voice heard and his opinions heard and in every conversation. And he makes sure to check things that might come up that are blind spots for some people. So, you know, I do think that all of it is important to talk about, and the feelings that people have are valid.
Absolutely. You know, well, what's your ED was here to kind of address it directly. 13th, January 13th.
No, April
13th.
Festival is always April. So April 13th.
So that he could kind of address these questions directly. But what is the strategy or the plan, at least from his perspective, in terms of overcoming this stigma, if you will, that's attached to his festival?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's what I've learned about it, people, especially people that come from a different background than I come from, is that they got a lot of learning to do. There's a lot of learning to do, and part of that learning is having uncomfortable conversations for people to directly be like, this, I don't like this because of X, you know, because if somebody's just like, I don't like it, you know, it rubs me the wrong way. Well, I need a little more information than that to work off of. So you'd be like, this is exactly this look. This is not a good look. So we need to adjust this, you know, and then adjustments are made. And that's, for me, that's all I can ask someone to do, you know, because it's like, yes, I understand, like, all right, if you have an event and looks like all white faces in it, I'm not going to feel invited to that. I mean, the downtown mall itself is an issue where, as it pertains to like, there's there's very few Black-owned businesses on the downtown mall, historically, but even more so right now. And so that's an issue that is greater than just that of the festival, but one part of the festival is making sure everybody feels invited and shows up to. So when the block party week days happen, it's like, yo, every time I walk up and down the mall and I see people from all, from high school, middle school, like today. And they're like, I've never seen so many Black folks on the mall. I've never seen so many, this. I've never seen hip hop played on the mall with different acts and whatnot, with the dance teams and everything. And it's like, yes. And then I say, the power that is able to make that happen, I see it's a lot of work. It's tough to make happen. And so I want to support that to keep on happening. Like I said before, you want to make it your own. You want to do something like that. Take what they do, learn from that, do your own thing, do just a piece of it. Learn from these things.
Another question I was curious about, does the foundation invest or offer any scholarships for any of the businesses that are participating in the festival? Black-owned businesses?
In the previously, I think there were some like grants and stuff given out. I don't think there are any directly, but one thing that they do have right now is every year they have the crowdfunding pitch night. Which that's done in partnership with CIC. But different entrepreneurs can come with their ideas, their business ideas and whatnot. And there are vendors. There's a section for vendors, performers, artists that you can sign up for the festival as well. So there are different opportunities. We've talked about sort of like having sort of a scholarship or grant. One thing is like, I know that the festival itself is very expensive to put on. So that's a conversation that is ongoing. But I like the idea.
Me too. I think
it would go a long way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because honestly, I mean, like that would be like in the face of folks who do see some of it as appropriation or whatnot, like they can see it as, okay, well then it's not just bringing everything under the TomTom umbrella, but you're actually then using some of those resources
to invest,
like through the sponsorship, to actually invest in the folks that's on the mall, right, that's dancing, performing, for them to then take it back to their groups, right?
Oh, right. Absolutely.
But ladies and gentlemen,
Money talks.
Yeah, for sure. We are speaking with the media manager for TomTom Foundation, Scott Hamler. Is that correct for the foundation or just the festival?
So for the foundation, I help with social media marketing.
Okay.
I'm not the manager of it. I don't want to get my title too high. And then I'm
get you a raise.
That's what's up. I'm all for it. If it comes with a raise, and also part of the advisory board.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Thank you, man.
So you can take all this that we just talked about
that's
straight back to the board.
That's right. That's right. That's what I heard. That's what people saying.
Make things happen.
And that's exactly. We're happy to have you, man, because that's what we wanted to do. Because again, like within the community or we're at the water coolers, like wherever the talks happen, there's questions about the the origin of TomTom, the intent of TomTom, and then the effects of it. Right?
Absolutely.
And I think you're doing a great job answering the questions and explaining it. And to me, Max, it's about, if the facts are out there, it is what it is. And then at the end of the day, is that person's, prerogative, on if they attend, they partner, whatever the case is. But just having a conversation out in the open and not behind closed doors is the best way to handle it.
I think, and this is something that I feel like we as, in my humble opinion, try to do, but seeing the face of the person, the ED, or whatever the gentleman's title is, owner of TomTom Festival, seeing his face and, the public seeing his face and talking to them directly, about why it is that he does what he does and what he hopes to bring to Charlottesville and bring to the community goes a long way.
100%.
Dead money do too. But let me see, talk to me directly. And
I've said that. I've said that directly. And I think, and it's not wanting the face to be the representation of the whole thing. I think that's what he has misgivings about. But also there's a reality to it.
That's right.
It still is.
That's right.
You can't detach it. So I agree. Just like me being here, I can't represent the whole thing, but I'm here to talk about a piece of it. And that's what we all should do with whatever sort of organizations we're involved with, you know, back up why you are putting your time into this thing. And I agree with you, Charles. Like, if you're not putting out the information, then people are fill in the gaps of information themselves. So that's what I can help do. I can help, you know, fill in some of the gaps and like speak to the mission and in where we want to go. And also be like, that's where it was.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a quick break. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. Because we have a couple of audience questions as well and comments for Scott from media with the TomTom Foundation. So stay tuned. And y'all hit us up online, IMHO Talk Show, if you have any questions and comments. All right, be right back. To the ISM H to the Izzo Talk Show. Yep, live and in living color with Scott Hamler representing the TomTom Foundation today. But hit my man up at that 4Z marketing too. Like I said at the beginning of the show, man. Like I'm guarantee y'all have seen something with that has his staple on it. Telling you. But we are here talking about the upcoming opportunities for community partnerships. And we're talking about the origin, the intent, and the impact of the TomTom Foundation and Festival, as only in my humble opinion can do. So a couple of things we have online here. One is curious to know when the branding shift occurred. And I just want to know more in general, and said, Max, thanks for asking.
Yeah, I believe it was, and I don't want to speak out of turn because, again, it was before I got involved with it, but I believe the branding shift happened, it was like pandemic years, like 2021, 2022, something like that. It could have been prior.
And how long has it been in existence? When did the festival start or the foundation start?
Oh, this is the 13th.
Okay.
This is the 13th, I believe.
Okay, so roughly, so it had been
you
going
see
on
it on the
for
website,
like 8 or
whatever.
9 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Long time.
Yeah, for sure.
Has it always been on the downtown mall?
In the past, they had them in the parks.
Okay.
I think it was a couple of different places, but when I remember just being a Charlottesville resident, I remember it being in the parks and they had music and tents with like the different businesses. That's just what I remember from before I was involved with it.
Okay.
Yeah. And in full transparency, like, so you can understand how if somebody was to say, all right, for 8 or 9 years, we believe that this was celebrating a white man, right? For 8 or 9 years, and then maybe some money was going to get lost, and I changed my branding. You know what I mean? Like that's the conversation, you know?
Sure.
Right. So I mean, so that, that's understandable that why people would be kind of worried of what am I really celebrating here?
Absolutely. Ask the questions. Yeah. Like, I mean, and that is one thing that I know people have talked about to me directly for the last few years when I'm like, hey, you should bring your thing to the festival. Well, I thought it was a Thomas Jefferson thing. It was like, I think they put that to bed. But also if you don't feel comfortable with it, you don't feel comfortable with it. You know, I get that 100% too. But that's the thing with this town. It's like everything that's been around for a few years that is predominantly white run may not have a great rep, and that's so it's our choice to be a part of it, stay away from it, and my choice is to find that area that I can insert my opinion and my perspective to whatever is going on. Because if I'm not at the table, if none of us are at the table, then it just be siloed. Every time.
You on the menu if you're at the table, right?
Right.
You know,
I mean, if the motives are in the right place, then it's very easy to address this situation. But you can't do that if you're absent. So
100%.
And I work at university.
Like I tell my kids, let me speak to the person in charge.
Yeah,
100%.
Facts. And Max, and I work at university, and so there are people and there are initiatives that's constantly trying to break down the structural discrimination and racism, right? But you're talking about an institution that's over 300 years old, right? But I will say that it's a huge difference between something that was started 300 years ago versus something started 13 years ago, or whatever the case is. So, so we shouldn't be creating new forms of white supremacy. Not saying that's what it is, but I'm saying you should be watchful. You should ask questions.
That's right. Check it.
Yeah, but one other thing that we had asked is, will tomorrow be the logo while marching?
Will be the logo while marching.
Yeah, so I'm guessing like the parade on the downtown mall, maybe is what I'm guessing that may mean. Will tomorrow be the logo? And listener, if you wouldn't mind clarifying that, like, but I'm guessing just making sure that it doesn't say like anything about Thomas Jefferson.
Oh no. There's no mention of Thomas Jefferson. I mean, the logo itself, it just says TomTom Festival, and it's a sun. It's like a picture, like an iconography. There's nothing on the website. Nothing is about Thomas Jefferson, and nothing that we talk about has to do with anything with any old white men. That or the especially in Charlottesville with the talk of statues being taken down. We make sure that we're about the present, and that's what the tomorrow is about. Looking towards the future. What can this place look like? What can we do to make this place fulfill the vision and ideals that I think most of us have? For me personally, my family's from here. I planted roots here, and I want to see fun, cool stuff happens. But also, yes, I want to make sure that it's the ideals that are held up as well.
I like to go on record to say I like old white men, Grants, George Washington, Benjamin Franklin. I ain't got no problem with old white men myself.
You like green faces?
Yeah. But let's play devil's advocate for him.
You've been doing that all day,
right?
By the way.
I told you I'm gonna play villain today. Right. Okay. When it comes to organizations and creations, right? We are selective as when we want to buckle down and say we're against something, right? Mm-hmm. And when you have something, let's say for instance, we go back and this thing is called Thomas Jefferson, right? And it gives the opportunity that was not there for organizations to be accentuated in the way that it is. Because truth be told, I believe the city gives money towards this organization, right?
To the festival, yeah.
But that's money that would not been given or accessible to the people that look like me if somebody didn't want to do it. Now, you want me to name it what you want me to name it. You want me to do it the way that you want me to do it, but you're not the one who took the initiative to get this thing started. I do have a problem with any person that comes in secondly displaying something that they did not take the time to create themselves, especially if you are a person of power and influence, because you had these opportunities as well, right? So there isn't too many things that I know of in America that is not created by somebody that did not look like me as how it's positioned. We can go back to Kentucky Fried Chicken was stolen. Blues was stolen. We know all these things, right? But that does not stop you from being able to find your place to be able to grow yourself, right? So I think too often we pick the wrong fights because we don't have an exit plan for it. Besides, we need to get together.
Right.
That's the problem I have when it comes to anything that comes about. Now, granted, I'm not going to be out there promoting slavery. People getting hung, dragged behind trucks, tractors, and all that kind of stuff, right? But at the same time, depends on who tells the story. Then we're talking about the strength of Black people and the contributions that were given for America to be where it is. So I understand the confusion and why arguments take place, because depending on who's telling the story, who has the microphone, it can be positioned any type of way. It can be looked upon as help. It can be looked upon as additional white supremacy, right? We just have to understand that if we decide to mention something or ask questions, does it have a place of growth, or is it just something for us to say? And I think too often that has happened to the people who, the majority of the people that I see doing things inside of Charlottesville are not from Charlottesville. In the Black community, whether people get mad at me or not, right? I'm not saying that you didn't have your time or place, but when you start laying out people who are actually doing something, they're not originally from Charlottesville. So for the ones who feel like there's been a million atrocities here in Charlottesville. We understand it. Within a 74-mile range, you got 5 presidents, right? Mm-hmm. But does that mean that we then complain that we don't have nothing here to do? And then we have murders in parking garages and places, right? Mm. So when are we going to decide what fight are we going to do? Are we going to fight it for 2 minutes? Are we going to fight it from A to Z? What are we going to do? Because too often we talk in a way that has no substance to it.
Right.
It's more like fog in the wind.
Right. Right.
Well, I guess I'll respond. Is that for you to respond to?
I don't know.
Might be for me and Charles to respond to. Might be. I think the first thing I just want to point out is that when the conversation started, I acknowledge the fact that you all are doing a lot of good work, providing a platform again for Black and minority, but, other businesses, small businesses as well, right here in the Charlottesville community, providing a platform and a space for them to be able to grow and get their business in front of people. And that is worth what it is worth. Right. I do not want you to at all think that I'm trying to take something away from that. And we are grateful for that, let me say. Now, but I must also say that we are committed to being truth tellers here, or at least having very honest conversations, right? Mm-hmm. And so I couldn't sleep well if you came into this studio and sat down for this conversation and we not address the some of the issues that we hear pertaining to the TomTom Festival or the foundation, right? That's what I expect. That's the obligation that I have to my listening audience, is to be very real and upfront and honest. The thing is that while Razor made an analogy to Kentucky Fried Chicken, and I've seen him and my kids sit at a table and eat Kentucky Fried Chicken while talking about how Colonel Sanders stole the recipe from a Black woman and made millions off of it. That being said, it is not like we cannot hold these conversations, be critical of different opportunities or whatever you want to call it, that are here and offered to us and our community and different things like that. And I think that this conversation is no more than addressing those issues. It's an opportunity, if you will, depending on who you're asking, for the foundation to kind of air out, again, wish your director was here, but to air out and to explain themselves with regards to the criticisms that they are receiving from the community, right? So, we have, again, an expectation and an obligation to have these type of conversations, not in our homes, not behind closed doors, but right up front so people can hear them. Okay. So I give you your respect. I appreciate what you do, but you have to understand that we must also do what we're supposed to do too.
No, please do.
You're doing a great
job. I appreciate that. Yeah, I really do appreciate it, because like we talked before, these are conversations that people have. So it needs to be louder. And I appreciate people weighing in because I have questions too. It's the same thing, and I won't defend something that I don't believe in. And I won't also speak to things that I can't speak of, whether it be like people have personal experiences that I really have no idea about, but I can go with what the impression is and versus what the reality that I've seen is. And I agree 100%. If you don't rock with it, don't be a part of it.
Right.
Like nobody is forced to be a part of anything. But for me, and for what I'll speak to, is use these things that exist.
Yep.
As long as you don't compromise yourself, use these things that exist in order to move ahead, whatever you want to move ahead. And that's whether it's something you want to move, like get attention to the city, whether it's something like you got a business, you want to expand your platform for your business. You have an initiative that you want for it to be heard by the right ears. But you gotta use that on an individual level, and see if that's something that you want to do.
And the truth of the matter is that is what we as Black people have always done.
All the time,
right?
Every facet of life.
It is a way of life, but you put it very well. Just do what you do, as long as it doesn't compromise who you are.
Yep. Yeah. And in the face of it all, there are folks who I know have done just that. And that's why I said in the beginning, like my pain is not towards anyone other than my own people. You know, like that's who my plight is for. When it comes to, we have so many gifts, we have so many talents and all this stuff that we sit on. Right. But then when it's time to complain, we know how to complain. You know, and it like, so just some, you know, like I'm here to motivate. Right, I'm here to motivate. Like that's what I'm about.
I'm of the same ilk.
Yeah,
I'm of the same, and you know that. And you know, I understand. Like you said, air out what you want to air out, but also have an action behind it too.
Yeah.
I mean that for just everybody that has, not just this thing, but all things. You know, it's like I got many issues with this city, this county, this area, you know, and I will complain about several things too, but I'm also going to work towards making something happen, making it better.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So we are joined by Scott.
Now, what did you come here to talk about?
Yeah,
thank you for bringing it back.
I was actually going to say that. Yeah, Scott, this week, what do the people need to know about what they got to get done before January 31st?
January 31st is the last day to put in your application to join the community partner program. And again, it's on TomTomFoundation.org. Check it out. See for yourself if it's something you want to be a part of. There may be value in it for you. There may not, but just take the information in. All it does is, get that information to the people that organize it. And then the process happens. So if at any point along the process you don't like it, you can of course drop out, but it's free. I'm a business owner, so I'm always like, use what you can out there.
Right.
Use it to your benefit.
Yes,
indeed. Yes, indeed. So man, we have been joined on Max Razor. Y'all good? We got. Let me check the comment thread. Make sure everybody's okay. Yeah, I think we good.
We're good.
Yes,
thank you very much
for
joining us today and being willing to engage in that conversation. We hope you'll come back. We hope you'll bring Paul.
I would definitely be back. I would definitely tell him to come. And I hope to come back for other initiatives involved with as well.
Let's do it.
Yeah.